Yeah, so I'm Kelvin, it's Luca, it's Reuben, and this is the Full Circle, where we sort of journey into the past to kind of discover who we are today. And a lot of that is just going to be through conversations and kind of just unpacking, just a few topics that I think we're a little bit afraid to discuss still. But we'll be the guinea pig. We'll kind of discuss things so that you guys don't have to, I suppose. But yeah, today's a little different. Forgot to introduce Suma here today. And she's a professional beautician, and we're going to be getting our feet done as part of the topic of pride. And speaking of pride, we got someone very prideful here who
So is it gonna get hotter?
Not taking their shoes off for the sake of...
Yeah, can't lie.
Yeah,
even my bath's not this hot.
Yeah, you're
got side.
You're so
just there suffering.
Yeah.
See, it's the pride. It's telling me keep it moving. Exactly. This is what I'm saying. Yeah, let me just.
Today still, and
that's calm.
I mean, yeah, we'll try to open up the best way we can, I suppose. But yeah, you still got your kicks on. I don't know. Talk to me.
Don't do that.
Nah, I'm just saying it because me and Luca, do you know what I mean? We got our feet out. We've exposed it. Yeah.
Do you know what
I mean?
No, I'm happy for you lot still.
Yeah.
It's not about us this time.
Yeah. I just want to know from you, what's going on?
Is it okay for me to start, yeah?
Yeah, go for it.
We'll pass one of your feet to me. Keep the other one in.
Yeah.
Are you nervous?
No, I'm not even nervous, man. I'm not even nervous. I'm not against this. It's not me, man. So it's not for me.
What is not you, though?
It's something I do not give a toss about.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Nah, that's fair enough.
Alright, let me not be dramatic though. It's not that I don't give a toss about it, but I don't know, man. I just don't feel like it today, so.
You don't feel like getting your feet done?
Yeah. Do I have to?
Yeah. Why do you want to get your feet done? That's what I want.
I don't want to get them done.
What in you is stopping you from getting your feet done? Is it you don't want to expose your feet? You don't want to...
No, because we've had the feet. It's not so much about someone touching my feet. I mean, I'm a bit touchy about it, but it's not like, I'll never get my feet done. It's not like I ain't had feet stuff done. Pause. But, it's just...
What do you mean by that?
Yeah,
good, thank you. Yeah. There's been a
I was going to ask
dysfunction there in the foot. On the toe. It was bad. It was bad. Yeah, but it's kind of clearing up now. I think, kind of. But I think this will help. That's the thing. This is why I was down for it today, because this will help sort it out.
Yeah. Let's focus on Reuben. What, when it comes to pride, on a scale of 1 to 10, where's your pride levels at?
That's a good one still.
Do you know what it is? This isn't about pride, but I feel like it's becoming about pride because you lot been trying to stick it on me all day. So I'm becoming prideful now about it a little bit because was this mandatory?
Yeah, we spoke about this.
I was under the impression that you were joking about not.
So I said I'm
not partaking, but
I said I'm not doing it.
It looks like, you're serious.
So you lot think I'm a joke?
I don't think you're a joke. It's feel like you're not collaborating with us on this foot journey that we're going on.
Foot journey?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
No?
No. Yeah. Like I've done stuff. Like foot stuff. I've done foot stuff. Like I look after my feet. So it's not like I've never done this and this is a pride thing, it's a man thing, men not supposed to do their feet or whatever. Like it gets done. Men do their feet.
Is it the fact that there's a camera involved now that's what's making you skeptical?
No, I wouldn't say it's a camera as well. I'm just don't want to get it done.
No,
like, I'm just not like. I look after my own feet, whether I'm scrubbing it, greasing it, whatever. I do that kind of stuff. Obviously, if we're going towards like the nails and all the cuticle stuff, all of that sort of stuff, I have done that. But then also it's like, so? Do you get it? Am I making sense? Or
no, it's not making sense to me.
No, I get it, because we can't, no one can force you to do anything.
Sorry.
It's alright.
I think now it's about, with 10 being the highest, I think it's about 6. I think before it would have been a lot higher, like 8, 9.
What situation you find yourself in that made your pride come out?
Is that okay there?
Yeah.
About us sticking it on you making you get prideful.
Yeah.
So is it when people are getting onto you that you feel like, rah, I need to know?
Yeah, like it's exactly what you're saying. When people get onto you, you become prideful. It's like being backed into a corner, and it's like, where else am I supposed to go? Do you get it? It's just kind of, it's like it's loading a little bit, because I came in thinking, don't have to, don't feel like doing it, and then literally every single one has stuck it on me now. Not stuck it on me to say like, oh, you're letting the team down, even though you lot think I'm letting the team down. But yeah, I'm starting to get prideful now. Now it's like, okay, I'm not gonna do it now by force. A little bit. I genuinely don't want to do it, but yeah.
It is nice.
Sounds like it hurts as well.
Yeah, I thought it would have been a thing where like, if we all kind of told you to do it, then you wouldn't do it. But again, you saying you don't want to do it, I still don't have the understanding as to like, what is behind that? Like, is it like a fear, or is it just you like your personal space? Like, you don't want no one invading that? Like, I kind of need to get like a deeper understanding. Because to me, it's just feet in it.
Yeah, it's just feet. That's why we had our feet out before. It wasn't a problem having the feet out.
I mean, initially it actually was a problem. It was a big problem. Let's not lie about it.
Yeah, okay.
We got there in the end though.
Yeah. Even then though, I wouldn't even say that it was a big problem. I would just say we was just all a bit like, why are we getting our feet out still?
Are you prideful right now?
Yeah,
a little bit, because it's like, there's like 6 of you, big light in my face, like, he's telling me, he's giving me the 3rd degree, you're giving me the 3rd degree. It's a bit like, I want to be at peace, but you're not allowing me to be at peace.
So your pride comes out when you feel like your peace is threatened?
Yeah, what are you disrupting my peace for? Leave me alone. What's the problem? If you're free having it all out, pause, then be free.
Pause.
Be at peace. I'm at peace how I am now.
Do how you feel in it.
Be honest though, do you feel like, because it's not the most masculine thing that I'm doing right now. What I may refer to, because like you walk into a place where people are getting their feet done, you mostly see women, right? Like it's more of a feminine thing. Right now, I don't feel my most masculine. I feel, Do you think that's a thing for you? You're a big man, but you're there and your toes are out, getting them softly rubbed with lotion. You think that could be a thing that makes you skeptical about the situation?
Your pride still.
Don't do that.
I'm not even crying.
No,
this is what I'm saying, and you expect me to keep my pride intact?
You spent words in my mouth.
How are
I'm
you
not
not
questioning
really
pride.
enforcing the pride right now?
Is this a vulnerability thing?
I feel like for some people, we've got to break it down. You see a big tree, we've got to break it
Why
down.
am I a big tree? What the hell is that?
You walked into this, the moment you said you're not going to take the shoes off.
No, and I know that. But how can you not understand what you're doing?
I do understand.
This is gang culture, you know that.
Listen.
This is gang. You lot are all like onto.
Temperature.
Yeah. Yeah, it was peer pressure.
So a lot of peer pressure to do pride. So yeah.
Can be.
It can. It can. I mean, yeah, peer pressure and pride, that's how you do stuff you don't necessarily want to do.
So is it very important how people perceive you, like in terms of your pride? How you're perceived by others? How important is that to you?
It used to be more important. Now it's like not as, because I realised it's never really that deep. But like before, I would say when you talk about the peer pressure thing, someone could peer pressure me into do something, and I would say no, I'm not doing it. But then through their persuasion, I actually end up wanting to do it. But I'm like, I'm still not going to do it because then it will seem like they'll get what they want by peer pressuring me into doing it. So I still say no, even when at this point I want to do the thing. Because of my pride, I say nah, I'm not doing that now. Do you know what I mean? So that's the interesting aspect of it. But
even if it's for your benefit.
Exactly.
You will still say no.
I have done in the past. I can't remember what it was about, but I've definitely done that where I mean, like, oh, actually, that sounds kind of cool, but I'm like, no, initially I said no to this person, now it's going to seem like they pressure me into doing it. You know what I mean?
It's definitely like that. Like, for example, you know, like, and this is just a very trivial, like, low-level example, but you know when you're going to go to do the dishes, and then someone tells you to do the dishes, and now you're not going to do the dishes, because I was going to do it, and you told me to do it, and now I don't want to do it. But that's it. Obviously, that's a very flippant, trivial example, but that's the long and short of how it works.
I think what I didn't know about pride is that there's the good side of pride and there's the bad side of pride. And for me, I've only been taught about the bad side. But I think growing up, I wish I kind of knew about the good side in terms of pride. I think for me, just growing up as a Ghanaian, I didn't realise just how rich in history and culture that, you know, my country possesses. And so growing up, I wasn't prideful about even my name, you know, being spoken out loudly by my parents. So, for example, I could be, So, for example, it's Kofi. But again, pride will have me just say, nah, my name's Kofi. Do you know what I mean? But in Ghana, we'll say Kofi because that's how it's supposed to be pronounced. So, for example, I could be out with my friends and my mum called me basically, my Ghanaian name, And so I'm a little bit embarrassed by that because everyone's looking at me like, bro, I thought your name was Kelvin, this is not English, do you know what I mean? But I didn't realise that, you know, there's a lot of culture, meaning like behind my name. And so looking back, I would have loved that pride to say, do you know what? I'm Ghanaian, this is where I'm from, I'm proud of that. Do you know what I mean? And not be embarrassed by that, but...
Not tickle.
Oh, you're ticklish? Oh, damn. But yeah, I should have been a little bit more proud about that. But I think growing up, I've only learned about the bad side of pride, so...
What is the bad side of pride? Like,
I guess...
How do you discern the two, or distinguish the two, sorry?
I think the bad side of pride is just where you kind of, I would say, are too strong-willed to like not ask for help. The bad side of pride is where you ruin relationships where you can't see where you went wrong. I'd say the other bad side of pride is just not taking in another person's perspective, I'd say. And I never had like a manual to like understand like how bad, you know, pride could be. So I feel like I got into a lot of situations where it's kind of been too late and I've had to learn the lesson the hard way through pride. So I'd say in those aspects.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. For example, asking for help. I feel like if pride has ever worked against me, it's probably asking for help. But it's also something that I don't necessarily recognize because, so for example, my mum always told me like, don't ask anyone for help. If you need any help, you need any assistance, come to me and we'll sort it out. And so that's obviously affected how I am now because the last thing I'm going to do in most situations is probably ask for help. If I can't get it from my mum, then it means it's something I don't have or something that we don't get anyway. So, yeah, in terms of that being the bad side of pride, as you said, I definitely understand that. But then also, I do also see it as a good side at times. I understand the benefits of, you know, pride in that aspect because I don't own no one. You know, anything I've ever done is either come from me or my mum, and that boosts my pride. That makes me more prideful in the sense of like, yeah, like if I need it, I can go and get it. Do you get what I mean? So I see that's like a good and a bad thing anyway, but that's just one example.
Yeah, I'd say, I think my first experiences with pride is kind of learning it from, you know, my parents and also my caregivers, so like my uncles and aunties and stuff like that. And where I realized that, where I experienced it is kind of trying to correct my aunties and my uncles when, you know, they did something wrong or they got information incorrect. So it's like,
how did they react to that?
So I'd be like, uncle, like, you got this question wrong. Like, we're both watching Who Wants to Be a Millionaire and you got the question wrong. Like, it's clearly not C. Like, we did 50-50 and they took off C. So it's clearly not C. And he's like, no, how can you tell me I'm wrong? Da-da-da-da. And I'm like, uncle, the question, the answer is not C. And he's like, oh, shut up. You're only a small boy. You know, you don't know anything. I'm older than you. I'm twice your age. I could be your dad, all that kind of stuff. And it's like, well, it still doesn't change the fact that you got the answer wrong. Like, are you not gonna just say sorry? Like, okay, do you know what? Turns out the answer was C. You got it right. So therefore, do you know what I mean? I'm sorry, innit? But you never get the apology. It's like you show them how to do something, and then afterwards it's like, I'm still better than you. I'm still older than you. You must respect me. But it's like, just accept that you're wrong kind of thing. So, but as a kid, you grow up and it kind of confuses you because then when you kind of, you know, go back to your interpersonal relationship with your friends or in relationships and stuff like that, where do you draw the line to like say that you're wrong or to apologize and stuff like that? Or now that we start moving the goalposts to say, well, because I'm older than you, because I'm smarter than you, because I have more money than you, then therefore I don't need to apologize, or therefore I'm never wrong. Do you know what I mean? Like, where do we draw the line kind of thing? And so...
Where do you draw the line with that, actually? I feel like it's a good question. Like, where would you actually draw the line?
Where do you draw the line?
How you mean?
Like, with pride. Because like, for instance, your uncle, like, where I'm coming from, like, where's the line where it's like, yo, like, I hate this pride and you wanna, you know, show out in a certain way, but you know, you just took a fool.
I feel like so you're talking about maybe in the household, trying to draw the line of pride, of where pride is in the household.
Yes,
In the
please,
house
yeah.
or amongst your brethren.
Yeah, go on, you can put your leg, be comfortable, put your...
I feel like it's difficult.
That one, you can put your pressure.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like it's
Yeah,
difficult
Yeah, that's good, thank you.
to draw a line of pride in your household as a kid. Like, especially in an African household, obviously from Ghana as well.
It's impossible.
You
You don't have no money. You don't pay the bills.
Yeah,
Like,
you don't actually contribute to anything, and you know that's all. You know, your parents are likely to see stuff. You don't contribute. You're a child. Just stay there and be a child and be taken care of. You can't teach them. Your parents can't learn anything from you. You don't have any sort of like influence or input or opinion. You're not really considered in a lot of capacities. So in terms of like drawing the line of where pride is, or having pride for yourself, I don't even think there's any such thing as pride. Because if you start to show pride in you're a rebellious child.
At those ages, definitely, yeah.
Yeah.
Because obviously you're not growing up in an African household. Is it the same?
To be honest, like when I was young and a teenager, and my dad would admit that he'd done something wrong. But that was only over, I can't really remember when I was very young, but yeah, to be fair, he would admit when he crossed the line. I would admit when I crossed the line. And yeah, it was kind of healthy in that aspect, even though it would take. I'd have to say a lot for sometimes for him to realize what he did. But yeah, the pride thing wasn't too much. It wasn't like it wasn't too severe in that aspect really. We both just accept and admit really, which is.
And how did that affect your relationship with your dad? Did that make you guys come closer together?
Yeah, that means you can speak about your differences, not in an argumentative way, but just in a way of understanding that I might act a certain way because I'm this sort of person. You need to understand that. Gradually, over time, we started to realize our differences in that way, and it helped the relationship. It helped better it a lot because maybe it used to be a thing where it's like I'd be acting a certain way, and my dad would be like, "Why are you doing that? That's not normal. No one does that. Stop doing that." Sort of making me think that I'm doing things wrong or I'm not allowed to just be my own person and act my own way. But then over time, I kept stressing to him that everyone is just different, and there's no such thing as the perfect, ideal teenage son. You get it? There's a lot of teenage sons. Everyone's got their own weirdness going on internally. You need to understand that if you want to be a parent. You can't just say stuff like, "That's weird behaviour," etc. Unless it is genuine weird behaviour.
What were you doing those weeks?
Well, it's stuff like in the morning I wouldn't speak because I was tired. And it's like, that was for years sort of made a problem. And I never really knew why that was a problem because I'm just in my head like, well, I've woken up, I don't want to talk to anyone for an hour. But to him, he wakes up, this is when I was younger, not really now. He wakes up, he wants to talk. He's like in his, and it's like, I'm like, look.
Put your feet onto that bar.
Yeah, there's nothing I can do, and I try to stress it to him, and now he's understood it, so, yeah. But that's just one example, really. That's just one example.
Yeah.
I see you guys looking over there. How will that type of conversation go down?
There's no conversation.
Yeah,
There's no. Do you have that option? That's not an option.
Yeah.
As far as my parents are concerned, I'm right. You're the child. That's it. Move forward. Even if I've been aggrieved, if I've been wrong, you kind of have to accept growing up without the apology, growing up without the closure, growing up without, getting, the apology from them. Because as far as my dad's concerned, he's out here working the whole day. But my mum's concerned, she making sure that we're all fed. So that's their apology, innit? That's, we're under the roof. So to them, it's, you could be in Ghana. The opportunity's here, innit? So be grateful with the bare minimum.
And how does that impact on you guys' relationship with parents? Obviously, from you guys. And then also, secondly, how did that impact your relationships with other people outside of your house? Were you able to then form proper bonds, or did you have that pride attached that you have to your parents?
So, essentially, how did the relationship with our parents influence our relationship now?
Yes, with your parents and then with your partners or your friends.
With our parents and outside as well.
Oh, yeah. I'll be rough, because if I'm gentle, it'll be more difficult.
Do you know what?
So with my mum, we kind of...
Temperature's okay, probably for you.
Yeah.
Obviously, listening to Luca, it seemed like him and his dad had a more healthy relationship where they can talk to each other and, overcome problems, essentially.
I feel like
in a collaborative way. They took a collaborative approach.
Yeah, it's fun.
There was none of that. As Kelvin said, there wasn't none of that. Like, he was just a child, that was just it. And obviously, it kind of warped the relationship in a sense because you build resentment. Like, you build resentment, that's just it, because you're not really, it feels like you're not really valued or appreciated as someone who has their own kind of sets of opinions and
makes sense.
beliefs, thoughts, pride. Like, they don't see pride, they don't recognize all of that kind of stuff as a child in a household anyway. So it's definitely detrimental. It works against the relationship with the parents. Obviously, in my case, you know, my dad's kind of, you know, not in the picture. And my mum, we've kind of had that journey of kind of mending the relationship. So as far as pride goes there, we've kind of both learned to kind of drop the pride with each other. And obviously it wasn't always the case when we was young before. When I was young before, as like a teenager, for example, we went through a lot of stuff. And a lot of it was pride, especially when my dad kind of, you know, left the picture. Me and my mum, we were very prideful people. So we clashed all the time. So it just worked against the relationship in general. But over time, as I've kind of become more independent, and obviously grown up, matured a little bit. My mum's done the same. She's grown up, she's matured a little bit. Kind of, the pride is non-existent. It's not a factor in the relationship anymore. So, yeah, we're kind of pride-free in a sense. Obviously, we have our arguments and pride gets in the way and all of that. But for the most part, we're all good. And as far as how the pride affects our relationships outside, the pride obviously in a household affects relationships outside of the household. I don't know, I feel like it can go two ways. I feel like it can make you very prideful and rebellious, or it can kind of make you very reserved, and then you kind of, pride is kind of you kind of have a fractured concept of what pride is. Because you weren't... Yeah, it's like you have a fractured concept of pride because you don't really understand what it is. You don't really understand that you can have it. You don't really understand what it is to have pride. You don't understand what pride is for yourself.
That's a healthy concept.
Yeah, like, because it's natural. We all like have pride, and like if you have pride, it means like you're standing for something, or you don't like something, or you think this way or that way, whatever it is. It's a natural thing. So when you don't have that kind of cultivated in the household on a healthy level, you have, I don't know, I feel like you can have an insecure attachment to pride, especially outside of the household.
Yeah.
Insecure, do you agree? Does everyone agree?
I would say kind of because again, like I said, the good side and the bad side of pride, I kind of wish I had more pride in my adolescence growing up. So part of that is understanding that I'm quite sensitive, I'm quite emotional, I'm quite soft as a person. And so therefore, when I'm around older people in the area, you know, we're kicking ball, we're kicking back and stuff like that. When I display that, it's like, no, you can't be like this. You've got to be a bit more hard. You've got to be a bit more bad. You've got to be a bit more this. And it's like, well, I'm not those things, but I'm going to try to do it anyway to fit into, you know, the mold. But for me growing up, it would have been far more useful to have that kind of displayed by like my dad, to kind of show that duality where for a lot of times I got to experience like his hardness and heavy-handedness, but it would have been quite useful to kind of see actually you can be quite vulnerable around me, especially like when it comes to showing that, yeah, you can be wrong on certain things, or do you know what, I shouldn't have done this, you know, or like whenever I'd be punished, it would feel like, it wouldn't feel like a punishment no more, but it would feel like you've had a long day at work, so therefore I'm gonna take it out on you. But it's like you never get the apology to say, do you know what, I had a rough day at work, my boss was shouting at me, cool, I shouldn't have taken it out you guys, kind of thing. So it's like you kind of want that duality kind of growing up. So I think for me, looking back, yeah, that kind of made me, I kind of had like an insecure like attachment to it, I'd say.
I wouldn't say I had an insecure attachment to pride. I think, as I said, similar, I didn't really know what it was. I didn't know what pride was for a long time. I do remember like my first experience where I really felt pride come into the picture. It was like, I was a very non-violent person for like a lot of like growing up basically, until like I think year 7 might have been, where like I was in the park playing football And then these guys came, and then they were trying to take over. They was bullying everyone. We made some guy do up his shoelaces. Then he threw my ball away, and then I got my ball back. He's like, give me your ball. I was like, no. Because in my head, I'm like, am I actually a dickhead to be, you just made a guy do up your shoelaces for you. Wow. I'm not, I said no. He's like, you fucking mad? I said no. And it's like, for the first time ever, I couldn't actually not, like, what my instinct told me that all I could do in that moment. Yeah. After that, I cut. It's like, I got chased by like 5 guys. And I was on my ones. So I was off, I dashed, but it's like, I had my ball, so I was happy. Yeah. And I didn't give in to that fucking, all that. I just didn't give in to that.
Yeah, olders did that back in the day a lot. Like, you'd be playing football, they'd be like, yeah, give me a touch. Yeah. And the next thing you know, you give them a touch now, they just booted it somewhere down. Now you gotta go face, like, get your own ball, innit? Yeah, like, and I'm like...
And the fences are high.
Do you know what I mean?
Like,
it's like, why'd you do that? Like, yeah.
So from Luca's story, is that a healthy amount of pride, in your opinion, or was that a detriment? Because obviously you got chased by 5 guys in it. So was that...
Nah, he won, but at what cost, innit?
Yeah, that's what it is.
I won at the cost of I went home and I was scared for my life, but I thought I had 5 people after me now. That's what I went home feeling, and that remained for a couple of weeks. So it's like, at what cost over football? It's like...
That's it.
I'm still happy that I did what I did.
Yeah, because it's like, the boys, like, they know that you're not a dickhead. Next time they see you, they obviously want to be like, alright, next time we see him, we're going to do him up, whatever. Yeah. But they also know that you're capable of fighting back, for one. You left with your ball.
And because that distracted the situation, the kids around me that I was playing with were no longer getting bullied. Right. And that's what they were saying to me, so it's like...
So you helped everyone?
Like, pride served me positively in that way.
You're a local hero.
Nah, maybe one day. But, definitely served me properly there. Served me well. And I think it has continued to... in secondary school, especially towards the end, everyone would be in big groups playing, and you'd always get the people that were the scrapes, and it's try scraping.
What's a scrape?
Someone that they want to be involved, but they're not really involved. Yeah. If I ever felt for a second that I was in that position, when usually I wasn't, because I was quite rated, but if I ever felt like I was in that position, I'm off and you're not seeing me for the rest of the lunchtime because of my pride. Yeah. I hate being in that position of feeling like I'm trying to fit into something. Yeah. So I would just leave. Yeah, I would leave. I hate it, I would leave. And some people they will continue to do it. Like, I don't care, I just want to be involved. Yeah. They'll put themselves in that position where they're looking like the beg or the scrape. I've seen it, but me, I can't actually do it. And that's again why I feel like, I don't know whether that's me overthinking the whole pride thing or whether it's serving me positively. But it's
I agree with you.
It's an example of how seriously I can take my pride sometimes.
So when has pride least served you guys?
When has pride least served me?
Looking back, you know what, I was proud and I felt good in the moment, but looking back, it was the best.
So, in terms of pride least serving me, there's a couple times. I think the times I think about the most is during a lot of going on, with my family, with my mum. Obviously, my mum and dad, they kind of split. And there was just a lot of bullshit. There was so much. And to the point where you didn't know who was on your side. It was obviously me, my mum, my dad, my younger brother, and youngest brother, who was 3 at the time. So he doesn't really count, but there was just a lot of smoke and mirrors, and you didn't know who was on your side. Well, I didn't know who was on my side.
With your parents?
Yeah. And long story short, my mum was on my side. She was on my side from the jump. It was my dad who was a bit, get me? He was very manipulative in that sense. But because of that, I just had a lot of pride because I didn't know where to look. So I saw it as I just had to stand on my own 2 feet or try as best as I can. So obviously looking back on how the situation kind of progressed and how it ultimately concluded, pride least served me then because a lot of damage was caused, and not just by me, but a lot of damage was caused because of the pride that I tried to maintain out of confusion, but it's still something that I regret.
I'd say for me, where pride has least served me, I think growing up, for sure, I grew up in a household where I had this birthright to be like the firstborn, so therefore you're responsible for your younger siblings. Anything that I do, basically they'll follow. That's what I've been taught to do. And so a lot of the times when, let's say like my mother was away, she would instruct me to basically parent my siblings. And it's weird at the time because whilst I was kind of being like second parent, I'll say, I was trying to enforce, respect on my siblings. And it caused a lot of clashes because my mom's told me like, yo, you might need to respect me. If I tell you to wash the plates, wash the plates. If I tell you to like clean up, go clean up. But when they're not doing it, it's like, okay, now you're disrespecting me. Now you're not like listening to what I gotta say. So now I feel disrespected. So now where pride comes into it now, it's like, well, if you're gonna do this, then I'm not gonna be nice to you. If you're not gonna listen to me, then I'm just gonna keep being mean, kind of thing. And yeah.
Manian?
Oh, Manian.
So keep your foot there, just move your knee.
Oh yeah, like that,
yeah.
Yeah.
What, so they didn't give them beats?
Who? From me?
Yeah.
I mean, I had to enforce it in it, basically like be like my parents in it. But the problem is that at the time, I didn't see that actually, Kel, by you being second parent, this is not your responsibility. Like you should be a child growing up. And what it's done is kind of affected my relationship with my siblings going forward, because in those formative years, we could have been building relationships as opposed to like always bickering, always arguing, me trying to enforce, you gotta listen to me, you gotta do what I say kind of thing. And I think I've missed a lot of years just building that relationship as opposed to like just arguing and stuff like that. So
as in with your siblings?
Yeah, for sure. Because it's like now it's like we're cool, but it's like I look at like other siblings and stuff like that and how they are. It's a lot different to like how me and my siblings are. But I think for some people they've never had that responsibility to like enforce, rules and stuff like that onto their siblings. So
is that learned behaviour that we try to?
I mean, was it a learned behaviour to enforce, I'll say rules, boundaries on my siblings? I'd say yeah, but I only knew what I knew, and my parents only knew what they knew. So at that time, it seemed like the best way to kind of manage, kind of just having your mum absent kind of physically for some periods of time. And also when your dad is emotionally unavailable, it's like, you kind of got to do all roles. So you kind of got to like enforce like the boundaries, enforce the rules, but then also if something's wrong, you got to kind of ask like what's happening kind of thing. And it's a lot to deal with kind of growing up, considering that now when I'm older, I realize me and my siblings are not far off in like age gaps, and it's like, why is I being a parent to these guys? Like we're pretty much all peers at this point. Like I shouldn't have to be doing that. Do you know what I mean? So I feel like that's where it's least served me.
How did that all make you look feel at the time? So I'm hearing like, especially men, like a lot of our pride probably learning from our fathers. And then seeing it, if it probably wasn't the best way that it showed you, how did that make you feel at times? Did you feel like this was good and I have to follow what my dad is doing, and did you feel like, oh, this is a bit off? But I don't know anything else.
So essentially the question is, how did my dad's behaviour and pride affect my own pride? See, it's a weird one because I actually have like, historically I've had anger issues. But not like, drunken rage, anger, not like that. Like when I was young, I had delayed speech actually, because my parents always spoke to me in Ghana, and I go to school and they're just speaking English. Well,
Sorry,
No, it's okay.
that gets me. I'm very ticklish. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Yeah, I'm interrupting. My bad.
Can you firm the
I'm
heel?
affirm it. Yeah. The hill's fine because that's the hardest work for you still. I've been walking a lot. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, people are going to have to bring out the upper talk for that.
What?
I was about to say.
Nah, you didn't need it for him. Why don't you use it for me? Do you know what? Fair enough.
It's for your feet.
Is it serious?
It's not that bad. No, don't listen to them.
Nah, bro, I was about to say, you're pushing that file to
It's
the
just,
limit.
this just removes it quicker. So you're
quicker.
ticklish as well. I want to do it as quick as I possibly can
Yeah.
so that you're not feeling uncomfortable.
Do you know, I played a lot of football back in the day.
Oh, yeah, it's
I feel
that.
like
It's no excuse, man.
I feel like that was my strongest.
Everyone play football, bro.
Nah, but like I feel
Before
like
the knee injury.
that being strong stopped me from getting injured. I feel like I never had injury in it.
We need a
that's
certain
me,
amount
though.
of hard skin on our feet to be
Yeah.
you know you do.
Yeah.
You never got injured in football?
No, hardly.
I got a Peaker's foot injury. That's
Swear.
my only injury, my foot. Oh my god.
Yeah, sorry, yeah. So, yeah, how did my dad's behaviour or pride affect mine? So, where was I? That's it, yeah. So, at home, my parents are speaking to me in Ghana. And then I go to school, they're speaking English. So, obviously, my small head got frazzled. And I just didn't say anything. I didn't speak it either. So, I had to actually do a lot of a bit of like therapy and speech therapy and that sort of stuff as well. But my mum was always telling me that I used to act out in anger because I couldn't explain myself. I couldn't present myself in a way that I could be understood by many people. And that's probably why not being understood is a trigger for me now. Just to make an obvious observation. But that was kind of, that was the beginning of like my anger issues kind of. And obviously as I grew older, like I just got less angry and learned to control it, that sort of stuff as well. But my dad was also kind of like that a little bit. He was quite domineering, he was quite, you know, he was like a dictator a little bit. So being able, me saying that his behavior molded my idea or concept of pride, especially in relation to anger, I don't know if I can make that direct correlation because I had previous history with anger issues as well, of my own accord, just through communication alone. So watching his behavior, I don't know, maybe it enforced it, or reinforced what was already there, sorry. But in terms of him being the reason for the way I was, I don't know if I can make that connection, if you get what I'm saying. But I definitely learned what not to do through what I saw him do. And that's obviously ultimately contributed to my kind of concept of pride as well, so.
You know what you said there about communication? I feel like that's so interesting because, you know, stereotypically, like I say, men, you don't talk, you know what I mean?
Right.
And whatnot. Do you feel like a lot of our pride comes from our inability to communicate effectively?
Does our pride come from our inability to communicate effectively? I don't know. I feel like I take pride in my ability to communicate. So I guess maybe that inadvertently answers the question. If my communication is something I take pride in, maybe effective communication does influence our pride. Do you get what I mean? Like I don't know do you feel the same or?
Kind of. If it's the way that I'm thinking about it, then yeah. Like, in a way that sometimes I might not say certain things that I really want to say due to pride getting in the way of that. Like,
Okay. What kind of stuff?
perhaps not wanting to appear too particularly vulnerable around people that I don't want to be that self around. You know, that's a big thing. It's like a barrier. Sometimes it's like the pride can be a barrier from what you're feeling and what you actually want to say. And that's something that I still can't tell whether that serves me or whether that's just, you know, hindering me from at times being my true self, you know, I don't know. But,
Okay, so I got a question for you, like, yeah. How flexible is your pride? Like, is it flexible? Is it very inflexible? Is it just like, this is it? And if it's not catered to or, you know, considered, there's problems?
I think now I'm flexible. I like my peace, so anyone wants to argue with me, hey, you're right. I'm wrong. I only argue now to get like a new perspective. If I can't get a new one, do you know what I mean? You won the war. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, you have it kind of thing. Before, I spent way too much energy trying to prove that I know a lot of things, you know, I've experienced things, but I've just come to the realization now that I haven't walked in a lot of people's shoes, so if they're giving me a perspective, I'm gonna let you have it and just learn from that kind of thing and not feel like I always have to be right, do you know what I mean? So I'm flexible now, just because only to protect my peace, really.
Yeah.
that's bang on, actually. And like, unless it's over a severe situation where you feel like you have to really indulge in an argument, more time is, you know, it's not that deep, is it? You want peace, you're yourself. You can't put your pride aside. I mean, I'm flexible with it because I'll use my pride to what's important to me and what's not important. So if someone's not important to me, you can have the perception of me as being the biggest dickhead. I don't care because you're not important to me. This conversation's not. I'd rather go back to having my peace, think whatever you like. If there's an important situation where you don't want to appear a certain way to someone, and that's when pride can be a bit more of a thing where it's set and it's like more like a barrier and you can't pass it, if you get what I'm trying to say. I'd say probably pride at least serves me with opening up and stuff. For the longest it has, because it's only now and again I've become more flexible, but for the longest I wouldn't want to open up due to, you know, coming across as a certain way that you don't want. But yeah, I don't think I have an unhealthy outlook on pride though, because I know when I need to, I can put my pride aside. And I've been in situations where I have literally been like, I'm a dickhead. I have no pride whatsoever. Like, I was working in a stock room for like £6 an hour when I was 18. Yeah, and I remember I was sat there and I was thinking like, yeah, my pride right now is non-existent. But also when I realized that my pride was non-existent, that's when my self-respect was at its lowest as well. And I don't mind if my pride's at the lowest, but if it's then intertwining with self-respect, then that's when it becomes a problem, because that can determine your outlook on yourself.
Right.
And then if your self-respect's low day to day, you're going to this job you don't like, you're getting told to do shit for £6 an hour, you're not gonna look at yourself in a positive way, and then that can result in more detrimental things.
Yeah.
So really it's like, that's the levels of severity you can get to if you don't let your pride sometimes get in the way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Do you feel like pride kind of distorts reality? Because, you know, by being like quite prideful, you think that you're strong, you think you're protecting yourself by doing it, but in reality, it's being weak, do you know what I mean, by not allowing yourself to do that, or like, where you feel like you know everything, but really, you don't.
Yeah.
So, I had a period where like, I couldn't come out of that for a certain period when I needed help. And it's like, yeah, I could have saved myself a lot of hassle if I just come to reality with things, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it can definitely distort your view a little bit. And like, you create this image in your head of, when you're young especially, the question always, am I a dickhead, is always in your head. And then that's when pride steps into the question particularly. But it can, I think, particularly for me, distort your view on relationships with women, because you could be thinking something, but really that's not the case at all. But due to your pride distorting this, giving you this distorted view of what's reality or not, that can lead to something worse when really there was never a problem, but in your head, because you're a man and the pride you have for these situations, it just kind of creates this false image. And I think that's the very unhealthy aspect of it.
Before we close, yeah, who in the world do you guys owe an apology to and what for?
You know what? I don't. And this may sound like a pompous thing to say, but I don't wrong people. I don't feel like I wrong. Yeah, I feel like they would.
That's a Ghanaian thing to say. you're being like your elders still.
No, but honestly, but it's like, bro, you know how you are, innit? And it's like, if I've wronged someone, it's through like misunderstanding. It's not through intention. It's not through malice. It's just, I don't know. And if I have wronged someone, I've apologized to them already. Do you get it? So there's no outstanding wrongings that I need to, like, there's no backdate of wrongings that I need to catch up on. Do you get it? So,
I'm keeping it still. Wrongings.
yeah, like, I don't think, I mean, maybe my mum. My mum, just because, you know, my mum did mum stuff and I did firstborn rebellious stuff. So it's not like I ain't said sorry to her, it's just probably for me on my own personal level, I feel like I can't apologize enough to her. But that aside, no, I think I'm good. I think I'm up to date still. So.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
You want to
I can't apologize to anyone. To be honest, I haven't done anything peak to anyone in my life. And if I had, then I'd say it now, but nah. If it would be anyone, it would be the same as you. Maybe my dad for doing things that, like, you know, firstborn to causing him all that sort of problems in my life. But it's like, in reality, I was a good kid. So again, it's like, I've already apologized. I never did anything particularly out of line. Anyone else to apologize to? Not really, to be fair. Not really.
Yeah, I think I'm a little different. I'm pretty sure I'm a villain to a couple people. Do you know what I mean? So I'm not gonna act like I ain't done no wrongings. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, a few of them, I'd say apologies to. It's just weird though, because now it's like a lot of time has passed. So do we need to revisit, you know, that conversation? Do you know what I mean? I'm happy to now, but like, that's why I just feel like, I don't know if it's worth revisiting certain conversations. But if apologies are to be had and conversations are to be had, like, I'm gonna have them for sure. But yeah, definitely a couple people that spring to mind. Yeah.
That's a good question, though. That's a good question. I don't think I've actually ever been asked that question before.
But take a little while to think about it.
Yeah. No, I'm thinking about it now, but I can't, like, grasp a particular situation where I felt.
Yeah, I don't think there's any, like,
someone.
Yeah, I don't feel like there's any crazy situations, apart from maybe just like, you know, my little brothers, for example, and putting them through hell growing up, that sort of stuff. But in terms of like external, like wronging people, nah, not any that I haven't taken account for already.
What about when you was in school and you was in class and you made your teachers cry? You don't think they deserve...
I was not part of that.
No, but like, you got to take some accountability for it.
Wait, so if I'm in the corner doing my work, reading my book, as our parents sent us to school to go and do, and them man are over there are doing...
You can't take, that's what you're saying.
Me?
Yeah.
Do you know who I was in school?
Oh, he's a real angel. Don't worry, it's fine.
Why you do this? You're onto me again. So we're ending how we started. So yeah, you're like onto
This
me
is
again.
his pride. I feel like I've re-triggered it. Do you know what I mean?
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I want to say sorry, actually. I realised I did something peak.
Yeah.
I want to say sorry to this English teacher at my school for stealing her bike and making sure she couldn't get home that day. Because I wanted to get home quicker to watch the World Cup. Because there was no trains.
How did you steal her back, bro?
These are the people you're comparing me to.
It was unlocked there for months, and I thought it was an abandoned bike at this point. It was a nice bike. I don't know why I thought that, but I was in a bad mood that day. Then I wanted to get home quickly. It was really hot, and I just said, you know what? So I took the bike and I just went off home with it.
How did you know it was the teachers?
Because then the cameras caught me, and then they said, yeah, you took a teacher's bike, like, that's a really bad offence. And I was like, and that's, if I've done any wrong in my life, and where I crossed the line, it'll be that. So, if she ever watches this, I'm sorry, man.
I feel like I want to be more like Reuben, like not doing any wrongdoings to anyone.
Bro, what are you doing? What are you doing? Why are you like this?
I feel like if we were all like him, like no one would have any pride. No one needs to apologise to anybody. You know.
Perfect sheet. That's what doesn't need to get.
Do you know what I mean? Doesn't need to take his shoes off.
Okay, come and see Full Circle, yeah?
This
yeah?
is.
Okay, cool. Come on.
This is where I need to model my life on.
You should. You shouldn't go around having to say sorry to people, bruv. Were you raised by wolves? What's going on? Be nice to people be nice to you back, couldn't it? And if you do wrongdoing to people, you say sorry, you move on. What's it?
I'd say, as a full circle moment, like, would you feel like you learned from today's conversation?
Yeah, I've just never really spoken about pride like that, really. Hear people's perspective on pride and how it served them, how it hasn't served them. It's all interesting. It all makes you think about the word. Because it's a word that speaks a lot. That word, small word, but it speaks a lot, so yeah. And I know it affects all of our lives in different ways.
100%. Yeah, man. It's I can't tell you the last time I decided to sit down and actually talk about pride in any sense. So yeah, it was a good conversation. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I'd say talking about stuff, you know, makes you uncover things, you know. So I would say that I got to be therefore flexible with how prideful I am. But also on the flip side is the good side of pride, where it's just like you're really proud of yourself, you're really proud of where you're from, what you've been able to achieve, how you got here. I think going forward, that's something I want to focus more on. But when speaking about stuff like this, you do look back on certain situations and get a bit vexed. So it's defo smoke for my uncles or my aunties. Like, if they come visit, it's still beef. I can't even lie to you. But I think going forward, even talking about this, it's difficult still. Yeah, it's not a sexy thing to talk about, like pride.
What,
like,
sexy?
Huh? You use that word a lot, don't you?
Whoa, a lot.
I remember before.
Have I used it once today?
No, but you have, and I'm like, you always say it so out of context to me.
Okay, cool.
Before we wrap, how was the foot for you guys that actually good for you guys?
Oh, you did an amazing job. Like, I liked it personally. I feel like I should do this more often because, you know, if she needed the cheese grater thing, then it's serious. I think I need to do something about it. Do you know what I mean? So, and I feel a lot better for it now.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
same.
So,
it's really helped me in my affection.
yeah.
My feet
together
they just feel nice now. Like they just feel
Do you know
good.
when you're at home, and you're about to go to bed and you do this? I feel like now I can do that with no sound effects. Because you know it makes a sound like when you're corn rubbed together. But now look,
It definitely was for you.
there's no sound, you know. There's no sound. Listen, I'm good,
Bro, I hate that because all the uncles used to do that when they came round.
bro. They used to put their feet on my sofa. You know? Hella corn as well. Anyway,
Kelvin will lose it.
Bro. Yeah, man. As for me, you didn't partake. I don't feel any less of a man. I don't feel any more of a man.
why has he got to say that though?
I'm just saying because
No one
you
said
lot
it.
attacked me at the
No, but
beginning,
no
so
one-
I'm
no one-
just
no one
get me, I'm
questioned-
just don't
no
do
one-
that. Don't
no,
do
but
that.
no one
Don't do
questioned
that.
your-
Don't
your
do that.
masculinity.
Don't do that. Don't
No one
do that.
questioned it,
Don't
though.
do that.
We just asked you why you didn't do it.
Because you did. You was trying to break barriers at the beginning. I feel at peace.
Do your feet feel at peace though?
I know they're hot
got
right
to sleep
now.
tonight.
You've been wearing them shoes all. I know they're hot right now. Take it off.
Take it off, you know. We can't get to that level.
On that note, thank you for listening. I enjoyed it. I'm sure these lot enjoyed it as well. Yeah, thank you very much.